Hi there, everyone. I hope you can hear me and see me. I am Carolina Tóth, and I will be your host today at the Stretch Leadership Meetup. Um, and I am very happy to have you here because we every month organize this meetup with leaders in all sorts of industries who are really eager to share their experiences and their learnings leading up to the main event of the Stretch Conference, which will be organized in December, where we have a really amazing lineup of speakers. With that said, today our first presenters are Zsófi Szabó, Sára Pásztor, and Vilmos Csimma, who will talk about diversity and inclusion for social sustainability, which is a very hot topic right now and pretty much all the time. I'm very happy to have them here with me. And just a little bit about their talk. Social sustainability is often overlooked. The environment is the primary, but not the only consideration within sustainable development. And it is also important to consider human welfare. We all know that and hope we can all feel that. And diverse workplaces and inclusion of persons with disabilities in primary labor market workplaces has tremendous potential. So we have a really amazing angle to present you here today, the successful strategic partnership of Prezi and Jamba. With that said, Zsófi is a psychologist. She is a co-founder of Jamba Hungary, and she worked previously for the employment of people with disabilities in the UK and also gathered extensive experience in Hungary. Sára is also a co-founder of Jamba Hungary, and she is a special education teacher and a cognitive neuroscientist and human rights activist, working with people with disabilities for 12 years already. And she also has extensive experience with working with people with disabilities, and she has been to Germany, the Czech Republic, Romania, Bulgaria, the UK, and Hungary. So she's been all throughout, everywhere. And Vilmos, last but not least, has over 10 years of experience working with functional system regression and process testing, and also Scrum Mastering in several projects in Budapest, Amsterdam, and Frankfurt, and even Prague. And currently, he works as a QA manager at Prezi. And with that said, I would love to welcome our first speakers of tonight. Please join me on the stage, and I hope you will enjoy their presentation. If you have any questions, please let them be seen in the chat, and you will have a chance to ask all of your questions when the speech is over. With that said, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Carolina, for the warm welcome and the nice introductory words about us and about our topic. You pretty much covered everything, without joking. So we would like to show you a new angle of sustainability, and that's the social sustainability, which is really like underdefined currently. And we would like to also already said present you this nice cooperation, which is like under construction still, but already is having some results. And we would like to also give you an insight in what Jamba is doing and who we are. And we really hope that you will be able to connect to that and somehow understand like how you could relate and what this social sustainability can give you through the approach of working with persons with disabilities. Before going like deeper into the definition of what social sustainability is and talking about persons with disabilities, I would like to invite you for a little warm-up game. I hope you'll like it. It's at Menti. I don't know whether you are familiar with this, but if you take out your phone and make a photograph of this QR code, this will put you on the page where you're needed to put in a number, if this is correct. And And here is a question for you about what your organization is doing in the field of diversity and inclusion. And we are really curious what you already know about it, whether you are involved with this topic anyhow, like generally, like what your thoughts are, what belongs to this subject. We don't see whether you could get in, and I don't see any responses yet. So this could mean that you are either like really tired after a working day and not really into warm-up things, or this could be like you're still figuring out the solution. I will give you a few more seconds. Could you give me some feedback, like whether you are like searching for the way how to make input, or what is happening in the training? Okay, super. Zsófi, could I ask you to share this Menti page? I'm sending it to you right now on Facebook chat. So we already have one response, and this is great. It says training. Training, volunteer work, collaboration with NGOs. Thank you. This is great. All these belong to the diversity and inclusion topic, and it's excellent if you're working at a company which is already like feeling responsible and like taking steps towards being a more colorful workplace and a more inclusive workplace. I'm wondering, maybe this is the 3 responses what we should like incorporate now and go ahead with further things. So I would like to zoom out now a little bit from this diversity and inclusion topic and talk about like social sustainability in general. There are 3 types of social sustainability. As also Carolina mentioned in the beginning, there is the environmental sustainability, and there is the economical one. And the social sustainability is special because it puts like the human in the center. So this is like everything about humans, like how will humans be like proactive and long-living members of the society. And this is like a really new aspect, and it's really actual now, because we are a lot in the planet, and we are growing and growing, and there is a really like radical power distribution, which means that like 50% of like all the wealth in the planet belongs to like 2% of the people. And social sustainability is for like elevating people in the hierarchy who are less who own less power, and persons who are like discriminated are usually like owning less power, and persons with diverse abilities are people like that. We like to call them people with diverse abilities, because this like removes the stigma which goes with persons with disabilities. And here on the screen you can see like all the topics which belong to social sustainability. These are the parts. Probably like you also recognize that these are values which are important to you, and which are like really things where if these are like put in focus at your workplace, these are directly contributing to your well-being. This is here Eric Herzeg on the next picture, who is head of the Signcoders. Signcoders is social enterprise who we are collaborating with for like more than a year now. and they are training coders, specifically those with hearing impairments. And they are really special because one of the leaders of the sign coders company is also someone with a hearing disability. He's deaf. He is Eric on the picture, and this is really a high level of inclusion of someone when you include them on the decision level in any company. Yeah. So I would like to bring some numbers to you to make you a bit familiar with the magnitude of the problem. In Hungary, there are 150,000 people with diverse abilities who are not working, although who could be working because they do not have like any direct barriers which acts against this. And this is also a huge potential for the market because we are always talking about like needs in the primary labor market. There are a lot of free positions, but they cannot be filled. So these are people who would be ready to work. They are super motivated and they really want to contribute to the ecosystem, but they don't find a way how. And this is where we come in. Also to put this a bit on a broader scale, about disabilities, there are 1 billion people in the earth who are having disabilities. So this is every 8th person. And the number is increasing because we are living in an aging society where people simply by living longer like have health issues like with the time, and it increases. So this is like a huge potential. In Hungary, there are 500,000 people with disabilities. So this means that like every 20th person has a disability, although we don't see them anywhere. And this is always really strange if you are really comparing it to like a Western European country or the United States, that like people are much more like showing up in the streets, like in workplaces, in schools, anywhere. And in Hungary, they are really hidden. This has, of course, a lot to do with the old socialist system where like people were living in institutions where they are like totally segregated, and they are like the opposite then connected to everyone else and to the society. So what's happening nowadays that we are trying to mobilize these people and connect them more via empowerment to the primary labor market and to the society. So we are working for their inclusion. So there is intention, but what's the barrier? So these people have intention, and we are having intention. So what's here the problem? The problem is it's a systemic problem. We found that there is a gap between what the market needs and what people can offer. This is a gap of expectations where like even if the market players would really like to be inclusive and have like really the positive mindset, they cannot find those people who could be fitted into the positions which are open at their organizations. While people who are really motivated to work, they don't have the skills what the market needs. So there is really this gap which we are trying to close by education, and by educating carefully for those positions which are open in the market and which could employ people with diverse abilities. So what we do on a broader level, we are an international organization, a network of 3 NGOs in Austria and Bulgaria and Hungary are we present currently, but we are also expanding and looking for organizations in other countries to arise. We are operating based on a hybrid model. This means that we are somewhere in between a company and an NGO. So this is like this social enterprise concept where all the money what you make from the market you put back into your cause. So it's not something where you make benefit. All the benefit what you make you put back into the education of people and into like empowerment. We are really addressing this systemic solution of education and tightening the gap between the expectations. And we are connecting like different sectors of the like whole society, because we think that disability does not only belong to the social sector or the health sector, but this needs to be like moved outside of those sectors. And when like by any cause like sectors are connected, this means always that the cause will be stronger and more relevant and more important in the end. So it will be more on the table and it will be a factor for more people.
Great. I hope you can hear me. I don't know. Okay. We needed to swap so that you can hear me, and Shari will help me out with the presentation. So hello and welcome everyone. First, thank you for having us here. I quickly say a few words about myself. As Carolina mentioned, I'm a psychologist, and at Jamba, I'm responsible for the career development of people with diverse abilities. And I'm gonna give you a deeper insight into our core activities. So what do we do? A key word that describes our activities is empowerment. So on one hand, we do empower people with diverse abilities through accessible recruitment, and we do have an individual approach, as we experience that people with diverse abilities have really individual needs. So we do not categorize them according to their disabilities. We do not have different services for, people with visual impairments, for example. We also look at their individual skills and knowledge and experience when they reach out to us. So this is something really important that you need to know about Jamba. I can give you another example for this individual approach. 1 year ago, we launched our first mentoring program in which we do match volunteer mentors who are coming from different expertise, from different background, and we explore the individual goals of people with diverse abilities, and we try to make pairs where the volunteer mentors can effectively support them to achieve those goals. This mentoring program, I think it describes how this individual approach works at Jamba. Another important way of empowering people with diverse abilities is through education, as Shari mentioned. And for example, we do provide soft skills training, and we also experienced a need for language training. So there are a lot of open positions, but English language is a must at a lot of companies. And the problem that we faced was that our clients do not speak English fluently, for example. So we launched an English course where volunteering with English teachers, for example, CEU, the university joined our recruitment process, and they helped us to recruit volunteer English teachers who now teach people at Jamba. And if community building is also a really empowering tool in our services, and we really would like to organize inclusive community activities in the future, but this is not something that you can do online effectively. So we are waiting for the time when it will be safe again. So on one hand, we do empower people with diverse abilities, and on the other hand, we provide services, business services for open-minded companies, services that facilitates the inclusion of people with diverse abilities in the open labor market. So, for example, we help them with recruiting people at Jamba. Also, we do provide inclusivity health check. It's a service where we assess where a company is at the moment in terms of diversity and inclusion, and we give them advice on how to develop, how to be more inclusive and more diverse. And apart from business partners, we do collaborate with strategic partners as well, who they want to understand the problem better and work towards these solutions in the long run. And hopefully you will see a great example when we'll talk about Prezi's side of the story. And the third way of this empowerment branch is visibility. So actually, through visibility campaigns, we would like to destruct stereotypes. We'd like to show good examples and rebrand actually this whole field of disability and fill that in with new content. As you can see in this picture, it's pretty small, but this is from a photo campaign. It was called "We All Can," and you can see Gabor. He's one of the first Jamba heroes who got employed, and actually this campaign shows that he's using a wheelchair, and actually he's working as a cognitive researcher at a lab. So this is something where we try to show that regardless of someone's disability, people all can have a meaningful job. They all can graduate and work in different positions. So this is one example, and I would like to show you a short video about Brigi, and I will try to share that with you, because it's always I think it's always better to hear someone's personal story than me talking about Briggy's experience. So actually, Briggy works as a journalist. She published her first book recently, and she will talk about her experience in employment and also her experience with Jamba. So there's an English subtitle as well. So hope you will be able to watch it if I start.
Nagyon sok mindenre jöttem rá, hogy így időnként a Zsófival is beszélgetek telefonon, meg tényleg ez a kommunikációs tréning, amin részt vettem, ez nagyon sokat segített abban, hogy hogyan beszéljek magamról, hogyan álljak hozzá más emberekhez. Én általánosságban véve mindenkivel nagyon nyitott vagyok, csak ugye mivel tudom, hogy a külsőm nem az a tipikus emberkülső, ezért én nagyon nehezen nyitok. Nagyon nehezen szólalok meg, nehezen engedem el magamat. De hogyha így megadják a lehetőséget, akkor igenis tudok nyitott lenni, jófej, barátságos, tehát hogy bennem megvan ez a kommunikációs kényszer, vagy nem tudom, kommunikáció képesség, csak nagyon ritkán merem elengedni. Nagyon sok mindenre jöttem rá, hogy így időnként a Zsófival is beszélgetek telefonon, meg tényleg ez a kommunikációs tréning, amin részt vettem, ez nagyon sokat segített abban, hogy hogyan beszéljek magamról, hogyan álljak hozzá más emberekhez. Én általánosságban véve mindenkivel nagyon nyitott vagyok, csak ugye mivel tudom, hogy a külsőm nem az a tipikus emberkülső, ezért én nagyon nehezen nyitok. Nagyon nehezen szólalok meg, nehezen engedem el magamat. De hogyha erre így megadják a lehetőséget, akkor igenis tudok nyitott lenni, jófej, barátságos, tehát hogy bennem megvan ez a kommunikációs kényszer, vagy nem tudom, kommunikáció képesség, csak nagyon ritkán merem elengedni. Mert nem tudom, hogy a másik ember hogyan viszonyul hozzám a külsőm miatt. Úgyhogy igazából a Jamba így ebben segít, hogy elfogadóak itt a többiek, nem érdekli őket, hogy nézek ki. A külön igényeimre nyilván odafigyelünk, hogy a munka, amit találunk, az nekem is kényelmes legyen, esetleg hibrid munkavégzés lehessen, hogy otthonról, félig bejárósba, ilyesmi. Nehéz ilyet találni, de nem adjuk fel, és nagyon lelkesek vagyunk. Viszont nem a munka volt az elsődleges, ami miatt a Jambába jobban belefolytam, hanem Zsófi egyik nap felhívott, hogy szeretnék-e részt venni angol nyelvtanfolyamon. És ez nagyon sokat segített nekem, mert volt már olyan állásinterjúm telefonon keresztül, egy ilyen kis rapid, ahol tesztelték, hogy tudok angolul megszólalni, és hogyha ez az aktív 8 hét nem lett volna, hála a Jambának és a tanároknak, akkor valószínűleg így mondtam volna, hogy hát ez tártalan, és leraktam volna a telefont. Jobban elhiszem magamról, hogy tudok dolgokat, de hogy így nincs előítélet, nincs megbélyegzés, tehát ugyanolyan emberi lényként vagyok kezelve, némi szépséghibával és némi korláttal, ami egyébként lehet, hogy mindenki életében van, csak vele se gondol.
A videót a Jambások készítették a JDC támogatásával, Rostás Bianca és Magócsi Márton közreműködésével.
So this was a Briggy story, and I think like listening to it, you could have a better insight into what we do, how we work, and as you can see on this slide, this is what we provide for people with diverse abilities. And now I'd like to hand over to Vil, who will talk about our joint new hard skills course with Prezi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zsófi, and thank you for that I can be here. Basically, how I was listening in this video and what you said before, my whole topic changed a little bit, so I will more improvise actually. But I would like to highlight a little bit the other side of the things and how I see, let's put it in this way, the diversity in the IT sector. I'm working in the IT in the previous 20 years, more like in QA in the previous 15 years. And regarding diversity, when we are speaking about diversity, 2/3 of the people will thinking on gender diversity. That's the truth. What I saw in this, I saw that like most of the companies, when you are going to an HR interview, diversity will be on the HR interview, that they say that they are diverse. But after all, when I sit into a group, I always find myself like 100% with guys, or maybe 20% was like the percentage, which was not always the same faces, you know. So as a hiring manager, after all, I started to look into the problem, that where this problem comes from on the IT field. And you have to know that QA is a little bit different in this way. We are much more open because we are the guys who are trying to verify the things from a user perspective. So we are quite open, not just on technical skills, but we need really soft skills as well. So as a hiring manager, when you are in a time pressure, what you used to do, you are reusing some job description, give it to the HR, and finally the same seniority level as soon as possible, because we have to deliver. The easiest way, put it to the market and we will get it in 1, 2, maximum 3 weeks. And that's how the dynamic of the group will never grow. That's how creativity will never come into a team. So in my point of view, a hiring manager, especially in IT and especially in QA, have to see from a much wider spectrum. We are responsible not just for having good technical skills, but we are responsible for soft skills and like how a team can grow together. And what else can give more power to a team than diversity? The first company where I really met with a diverse thinking was Prezi. Not too many company having like strategy on diversity, statements on diversity, and work groups who are continuously working together to find a way how to make a company more diverse. So as a hiring manager, I get the possibility to build my own team according to not only the technical needs, but how really beneficial can be for everybody to have a more diverse team in the company. So right now the QA team is 50-50% diverse, and I can tell you that it's incredible. Completely different point of views. The communication went softer, many new ideas coming into the group, and that was only about gender. And now let me just a little bit go further, that how with Jamba we started to think a little bit more and trying to set up a kind of QA engineer workshop for people who are living with disabilities. I would like to highlight for every company who don't know about it, that in 2025 a new European directive will come in charge, which is about accessibility of web pages and applications, which means that how I know the IT field, about 2024 December, everybody will start to think how we will make it. And that's where we started to think a little bit that we try to be diverse in many ways, but what if we will give possibility to those people who are living really with disabilities and teach them the basics of the quality management, the basics of testing, and let them after all teach us what is the accessibility for real. Because we will know just from the law, but they will know from the real life. And that's how they can be a great help in every testing team, and not just in accessibility, but all the quality testing as well. So we would like to organize this workshop, and let's try out with the first module, which will be about general testing, general quality management, more practical than theoretical workshop, where we try to give all the aspects of testing, communication, also with stakeholder management and all those things which can put any kind of people to the trainee junior level, and then let the companies show how they can teach these people to be a part of their companies. So that's the idea, and in my point of view, that's a great idea. Just another short example to showing back that mostly I found out that as a hiring manager, we are hiring people who are seniors but already burned out. And we found out that if you are giving a chance to people from different fields, and then you invest in them, then you get like a completely new point of view. And in testing, it's always very important, because our job is to be like really user focused. And just imagine a testing group whom can show a wide spectrum of users. So that's all what I wanted to tell you. So diversity is really a power in the testing as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Will, for this example. And we are still like super thrilled about this cooperation. And the pilot is just going to start this November. We are already recruiting for this course. So we hope that it will be filled. Actually, like already a lot of people applied. And yeah, I hope that we'll be able to let you know how this comes out. And we also really hope that there will be like really like need in companies who will be able to hire those people afterwards, that we can also like secure not only the education, but also like help them in their path afterwards. So we would like miss this opportunity to let you know that we are always like on the seek of like cooperations with any kind of partner, especially companies or like larger organizations, but also like small startups or like anyone who is interested in the empowerment and career development of persons with disabilities, or in this closing the gap thing, in this systemic approach. Like, please don't hesitate to reach out to us and contact us. Here you see some more companies who already work with us, and we are still like really young, like not 2 years old yet, but we are really really inspired and active, and we are constantly in reach out and seeking of new contacts. So if you were interested in anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach us here. So thank you very much for your attention and the opportunity, and we would like to pass the floor back.
Hi, I am, first of all, virtual clap. I'm sure everyone watching is clapping at home, but they cannot join us right now. But thank you for this awesome presentation. It looks like a lot has been done already, and you all are really making an effort. First of all, I love diverse abilities, and I'm taking it away and I'm gonna use it. And I think it's really a fun word, and it's really in the direction that we should all take. And also, I noticed, and I don't know that we have any questions from the audience, so I'm gonna jump in and ask my question, because to me it stood out that all three of you have extensive experience working in multicultural teams, and I am just wondering if really your international experiences have shaped how you think about diverse abilities, and how do you think it comes together that all three of you here have all these different experiences?
Okay, let me start. I think this is like this is a general approach, how we approach life, and maybe this is something which has a lot to do with your socialization, also like in foreign countries, but probably also with like in what kind of like direct environment you grow up in, and what your parents think about like the word, how they see diversity. what your school is like, whether you have like persons with diverse abilities in your school, in your classmates. I remember that I had like a guy who had like cancer and was bald, and I had another classmate who had the wheelchair, and these were really like normal. These experiences were really like normalizing this whole topic to me. So it's not like something what I hold as special. I'm honestly like always wondering like what those people think who think that this is not normal and that this is not like a natural part of variety. So yeah, personal experience shapes that a lot, and I think this is why it's really important to put people out in the labor market and let them be seen and let them be work in shops, in any kind of like workplaces where they meet people, that people can gather experience. And when they can gather experience about something, then the whole thing is not like that stereotypical anymore, and it's not that scary anymore. So this is how like the opinion of society generally can be shaped, and this is the way forward, I hope.
Thank you. Do you care to share, Will or Zsófi? It's all right if you don't.
Zsófi, maybe? No. Okay, so I would just say that I'm coming from a very liberal environment. I was fascinated a little bit in this way. Another thing, that when you are working in an environment, and IT is typically this kind of environment, when the diversity is not really visible, then and you are that kind of liberal person, then you will start to think about it, why. And that emphasizes you to go deeper and deeper and try to find some way how to see this like from a more wider spectrum.
Thank you so much. With that said, I see some questions from the audience. The easier one is, how can one apply to the mentor program that you mentioned?
Just drop us an email. At the end of the presentation, you've got our email address, either me or Shari, and we'll be really happy to tell you a bit more about how it works. And the thing is that also for this mentoring, it's really important that the mentor team is diverse. So we do not want to recruit only, people from the IT field or people from multinationals. It's really good that if you are interested, I'm sure you will be able to bring your experience and knowledge into the program.
Thank you. If you care to share your email address in the chat, I think that might be helpful to our watchers and listeners. And the other question is that you mentioned that you advise companies on how they could improve on inclusivity. Could you share an example which had a successful outcome in your opinion?
Yeah, generally, a really nice like first step for a cooperation with a company is this inclusivity health check service, what we provide. This is where we like analyze like basic accessibility of the like concrete environment. This can mean physical accessibility. This can be like accessibility of like the IT system. This can be also like psychological accessibility. So we are really trying to understand like how the co-workers like really like look at to this topic, because it's also like it can go wrong if there is like a really liberal like head of the department, but like workers of the department are like really like anti like being colorful or something. So it's also not something what you want to be like pushed through a team if the team is not there yet. And we can also like give advices in the adaptation of workflows. Of course, first we understand those workflows and the needs of each of the organizations. So it's really important to go like individually to all the corporations who we contact and really like try to understand their needs and respond to their needs. And it's exactly as like individual focused work as it's for with the persons with diverse ability, because like no two companies have the same needs and are on the same level. And and have the same, like, you know, approaches and directions and future plans and whatever. So this is like a great first step. And then we provide like diversity trainings. We love to talk about like privileges. This is like a cornerstone of our work, because this is a really nice, like, positive capturing on how to understand discrimination, to think about, like, for example, this is one of my favorite, to say that when you don't have a disability, then this is a privilege. So you would never put it this way, but like, so this is one step up the hierarchy, that you don't have a disability, and this is a really new perspective how you can, like, imagine your role and your position in the hierarchy. And there are like hundreds of more factors which contribute to your exact position. So we are trying to like gamify like as much as we can and really like bring it close. And we work with like own experiences, and we are a diverse team ourselves. So we have colleagues with diverse abilities themselves, and they come us on to like deliver these services, and they are also like involved in the decision-making levels. So they are pretty cool people, and this is like what we believe in, that like functioning as authentically as a team, like this is how we can also like be a great example, and we can also like test on us like what works for us, and also then like let it like float and like enroll into other like teams.
Thank you so much. I hope the person who asked the question has gotten an answer. Let us know if you need any other question. All right. So, is there another question from the audience? Give me a second to check it out. Yes, there is another question. What do you think, can the diversity be the reason why the USA is quite advanced in terms of diversity? So is diversity a recurring factor in being diverse, if I understand correctly? What do you think, can the diversity be the reason why the USA is quite advanced in terms of innovation? In terms of innovation, there is an extension to the question. So in terms of innovation, is the United States so great in innovation because they are so diverse?
I mean, diversity directly contributes to problem solving and to like being creative and finding creative solutions. So this can do something with this. And also, like, which wasn't said yet, is that it contributes to a team being more empathetic. We have a really nice partner who are so they are a company where they are doing a lot of like client calls, and it's really crucial for them to understand what their clients need. And since they hired someone from Jamba, they were really conscious with this from the beginning on, that if there is someone in their team who draws the empathy and who like enhances the empathy of the coworkers, this will be a guarantee for those same coworkers to be more empathetic towards the clients. So this will increase their performance by making them better understanders and better analyzers of the problem, and this also contributes to the effective problem solving. But I'm curious to hear others' thoughts as well.
I just remember what Will, you mentioned in your talk about bringing in a different point of view. So I think that really adds to the equation. So if we are more user focused, and if we understand the needs better, because we bring in very different angles and viewpoints, then I think it can contribute to innovation. So and also from a technological perspective, as Will, you mentioned accessibility again. diversity can also contribute to use, I don't know, more advanced and accessible technologies. So it might be also a factor in being more innovative, I think.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have anything else to add, or anything else that came to your mind and hasn't been said and should be said on this topic?
Maybe one last thought, that like, don't be afraid to try, and don't be afraid to be proactive, and really like change happens if you change something and if you try something out, and this is the way forward to development. So don't think that you cannot like increase the diversity of your team, because you surely can, and everyone can contribute, and all the big things start with small things. So
thank you. I think that's really great. All the big things start with small things. Thank you so much for being with us today. I really enjoyed your presentation, and I think it's really showing us how we can be more inclusive wherever we are. Today, we had 3 presenters in this first etap, Zsófi Szabó, Sára Pásztor, and Vilmos Csimma, co-founders of Jamba Hungary and QA manager from Prezi. Thank you so much for being here.